Hello, everyone. Welcome to Backyard Musings, broadcasting live from our living rooms in our truck in in Apple Valley. I'm Steve.
Yep. And I'm Scott, and I'm actually in Yucca Valley, but that's all right. It's still a valley, so it's all good.
Yeah. So we're glad that you joined us today. We have an interesting topic. It's about the moon, and we both find it interesting. Uh, the moon's far side was invisible from our vantage point on the Earth. Was. That is until a spacefaring satellite called Luna 3 captured its first images in 1959 from the far side of the moon. China has an impending mission. It's called Chang'e 6. It's an orbiter which will document the far side of the moon and take soil samples. China's targeted area is its South Pole. South Pole being this blue right there. And if I wish I knew how to embed it in this. If you guys can give me tips and tricks how to embed this instead of me holding it up, I'd appreciate it. So it's this enormous crater called the Atkin Basin. When I say enormous, it's 2,500 kilometers wide and it's 15 kilometers deep. I mean, that is massive.
Yeah, that's a
So
huge crater.
huge. China hopes to uncover the prospect of water ice on the far side and thus help sustain a human settlement, which would provide life support and fuel components. It's now a race to get to the far side of the moon, not just by countries, but also by private aerospace corporations who want to exploit the potential geological resources. What kind of geological resources, you ask?
That's a good question. So, scientists have made a remarkable discovery within the Aitken Basin. They
Yep.
believe that there's a colossal structure weighing over 2 billion kilograms, billion, and stretching more than 300 kilometers deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Kilometers, sorry, kilometers deep. Remember, the crater is 2,500 kilometers wide. It's a huge crater. The scientists,
They think.
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
thinking.
yeah, they think that this is some unusual discovery and could be composed of metal from an asteroid's core or oxides formed from a magma ocean's crystallization. Do you know? Do you now see the potential for geological resources? The structure is believed to be 5 times larger than the Big Island of Hawaii, all underground. Um, I got a
How?
couple comments about this. So,
Okay,
so
let's do it.
you know, I grew up in the '60s and '70s when our space program was all about getting to the moon. Thank you, President John F. Kennedy, and we got there. You know, there's a lot of people out there that say that that was fake, and I'm not a believer in that. My dad was an employee of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which did the tracking of spacecraft back like Mercury, Gemini, all the pre-Apollo stuff, all through the Apollo, and there was nothing fake about that. Those guys, I mean, I believe that Neil Armstrong was the first guy that landed on the moon in our lifetime, anyway, and they they got some incredible data from those trips, at least the ones that were able to land. Obviously, Apollo 13 is probably more um, prevalent because there's been a movie made about it. But I don't know why we haven't seen more movies about Apollo 11. Uh, you know, when they actually landed. So, but anyway, I believe that this is happening now. If you're going to talk about fake stuff, I believe that if anybody's going to fake something, it would be the Chinese. But anyway, that's another topic. So anyway, we're talking about this discovery right now. So let's just
So
go back to that.
you're saying that the lunar landings were not filmed in a soundstage. That's what you're saying.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I do not believe that one bit. Yeah, I believe that this
Okay,
is all
okay,
because I mean, you think
okay.
about it. There was a lot. There was some tragedy involved, right? I mean, if it was filmed, why would we have Apollo 13 that didn't make it to the moon, but they were miraculously allowed to come back to Earth? And then I forget what there was a an early on Apollo mission, and I don't remember what it was. And those guys burned on the launching pad. They televised that. Why would they
Oh,
televise that? I don't remember if you remember that or
yeah.
not, but that was tragic.
Yeah.
And again, if it'd be like a bad movie. You get a bad movie and no more sequels, right? Well, there were plenty of sequels in the
Yeah,
Apollo mission.
it's like
So
faking the Challenger explosion or the Columbia explosion,
exactly. I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
tell that to Christy McAuliffe's family,
Family.
or the rest of
All
the
the
people that
astronauts'
are on board.
family,
That
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
devastating. I remember watching that. President Reagan was the president
Yeah.
back then. I remember watching
I
that.
was
That was
at DLI in Monterey.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was crazy. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
that you, I mean, again, we take for granted those kind of things. So these people that are deniers that we were able to get to the moon, what is really disappointing to me in that whole thing is that we haven't been back. But
Yeah.
I think,
Well, we're heading
I
there
know
now.
President Trump, I know was all about that, and I'm not saying that any other presidents weren't either. But that, and now you mentioned private money, that's a good thing because I think a lot of people didn't want their tax dollars invested in that. I'm just the opposite. I thought that was a great program, but um, private industry is cool too. We've had some launches and people have gone up and been able to fly around the Earth and stuff and return, and I think that's cool. I'm fascinated by the space program. So
So, how was this structure discovered, you ask? Well, good question. NASA's Gravity Recovery and Interior Laboratory, called GRAIL, that mission played a major role in uncovering this discovery. The mission measures subtle changes in the gravitational field of the moon. This, combined with lunar topography data from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, contributed to the discovery. They think the an asteroid embedded in the moon's mantle, the asteroid just crashed, rather than making it to the core of the moon. Making it to the core would have most likely destroyed and fragmented the moon, transforming it into rings around our planet, much like the rings around Saturn. So it's embedded right in the mantle.
yeah, got it.
But that's not all. Scientists recently announced the discovery of a massive heat emitting mass under the Compton and Belkovich craters, um, also on the far side of the moon. So that's um, that's this deal. You see the moon right there. It's located right there, and that big red in the center. That's the that's the dormant volcano, and this is what it looks like. All the heat signature. Sorry, I couldn't embed that, guys. Comment and tell me how to do it. Maybe I'll Google it. Scientists think it might be a huge mass of granite formed from ancient volcanism. Ever, uh, ever hear of granite outside of our planet? That's wild. It's pretty wild. Imagine having granite.
You're freezing. I lost you.
There we go. We might be under attack. I don't know. Um,
Might be.
So the data was interpolated from China's Chang'e 1 and 2 orbiters. Remember, they're working on number 6 right now. The data showed a 20-kilometer wide silicon rich surface, which is believed to be a caldera of an ancient volcano. So the temperature of this area, the red that you saw, is 18 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than its surrounding areas. Wow, 18 degrees. Okay. Not because of magma underneath, but because of radioactive elements that are stuck in the rock. Who knows? Maybe some new elements may be discovered.
Yeah, so I got to go back to what you were saying about the granite because you kind of froze up on me there. So we got granite, obviously granite countertops, granite shower walls, like you said. I
Yeah,
mean,
that'd
we
be
have
awesome.
granite. We have granite all around where we live. I mean, decomposed granite is everywhere. We got the granite mountains, the granite hills east of us, right, but in your backyard, basically. So
Yeah.
lots of granite. Um, and besides extremely rare celestial countertops and shower walls, how else can this be of important to to you ask? Good question. Those deposits from the metal structure and radioactive material from the volcano could be potential rocket fuel, which would aid us in space exploration. Because yeah, that's the problem, right? We've gotten to the moon, but we've had to rely on our own sources to get back. If we could do something
Yeah.
there, that would be cool. The
Yeah.
moon could therefore be a launching and refitting base for any number of solar system explorations. So, yeah, I think
This
there's a
could
lot more out there to see.
Yeah. I mean, the Earth is going around the sun, so the moon travels with us. So as other planets cross our path, it could be a launching base to, once Saturn gets really close, boom, we launch and go see Saturn, easier
Right.
to get to
Well,
Mars.
yeah, I was going to say the next. I know the next target for a lot of these space exploration guys is Mars, which I think is going to be a probably a that's going to be a tough nut, but it's. I mean, I don't say it's not doable. I think that would be cool. I mean, and a lot of people have asked me, "Well, you're so interested in that. Would you want to travel?" I go, "Nah, I'm not. I'm not that much of a pioneer when it comes to that kind of stuff. But there are plenty of people out there that would probably pay big bucks or spend a lot of training to do that. So I think it's
Yeah,
cool.
and
I
just
love this.
just think of the corporations mining, drilling to get the resources, and could bring it back to Earth because you could use it there. Like I said, could be new elements we've never even seen before. This is
Yeah,
pretty exciting. Pretty
it
exciting.
is exciting. Yeah, and believe me, don't get me wrong. I'm not bagging on the Chinese for they're wanting to get involved in this and being involved in this because I mean I know the space station that we have, which kind of gets overlooked now because we've been there so many times and have so many things going on there, but we don't really talk about that much. But that's kind of an international, I think, space station, right? Everybody's been
Yeah,
up there.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people. Uh, I think that's great that we.
And
But
private
I again,
astronauts
I'd
too.
rather see us more to the.
Private astronauts from Elon Musk
Oh,
SpaceX.
absolutely,
They've gone up
yes,
there. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I would rather see more money spent on that than on climate change. Let's explore the heavens and see what's going on up there. That's cool.
yeah. All right, folks. Well, hopefully you like this episode today. If you like it, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, and have a happy Mother's Day tomorrow, all you
Happy
mothers out
Mother's
there.
Day. Yeah,
So
happy Mother's Day. We'll see you on
take
Monday.
take care. Have a good weekend.